What's going on, guys? And welcome back to Timeout with uSTADIUM with Brianna, Nick, and Frankie. We had last week off. We're back today. We have a lot to talk about in the football world before we get to everything throughout sports. Get some playoff updates for you in hockey and basketball. Check in on the MLB. But before we get started, as always, make sure you guys like the stream, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, all of that good stuff. So let's go. Big topic of conversation. Julio Jones is on the move. I don't know if anybody missed this whole Shannon Sharpe incident where he called him on the phone while he was on air. Not sure if Julio knew that he was on air. I hope he did, or else there's some legal issues coming. But he said he's out of Atlanta. He's gone. No two ways about it. He is out of there. So we decided to pick what we think would be probably the best fit for Julio, because it doesn't seem like Atlanta's an option anymore. He's going to get traded. Diana Rossini said as early as next week. Now we know the June 1st thing when it comes to his cap hit and what dead money the Falcons would eat. So June 1st is right around the corner. So next week doesn't seem too far off. But we chose 3 teams, one for me, one for Nick, one for Frankie, and we're going to get started. So, Nick, do you want to start us off? Where do you think he's going to end up?
Sure. You saw what Rossini said, where the Falcons have an offer of a future first-round pick. Didn't say from who, and could be moved as soon as next week, as you mentioned. I'm going with the Packers for multiple reasons. One, they got to make their diva quarterback happy. This guy has been crying, it feels like, since 2012 at this point. He seems to be complaining about Green Bay every other offseason. They haven't gotten him any weapons. They're not supporting him. He just wants to be loved. Now he's taking pictures with his fiance in Hawaii and some other people, and he looks a little
What's wrong
weird,
with that?
Regardless. I'd rather
if I was in Hawaii with my fiance,
Tom
I'd be
Brady.
taking pictures too.
Like Tom Brady's back on the practice field, and he's got 7 rings. This guy's got 1. He's been to 1 Super Bowl, and everybody wants to call him the best ever. A little overrated his entire career, in my opinion. So let's get him one of the best receivers of our generation in Julio Jones here. I say you trade Valdez-Scantling, cheap, affordable, talented receiver. He can go in and help Atlanta out, make a few plays. Obviously wouldn't have much of a role in Green Bay. A 2022 third-round pick and a 2023 second-round pick. They're going to be getting a 4th-round compensatory pick this year for losing Corey Linsley. They're going to get a 6th-round compensatory pick for losing Jamal Williams, so that 3rd rounder this year won't hurt that much. I know Green Bay loves their picks. They like to pick, cornerbacks that have 3rd-round grades and backup quarterbacks in the 1st round. So they get to keep that 1st-round pick this year, get to keep that 2nd-round pick, move the 3, bring in a guy like Julio for the next 2-3 years. So, make Davante Adams happy, who's also maybe thinking his career in Green Bay might be running up to a 10. So the cap is going to be an issue. They're going to have to be able to fit that $15 million this year and for the next 2 years. But as we all have seen what the Giants have done with, the Raiders in the past, what they've done with the cap, it's a flexible cap. You can maneuver it, and, they hire guys, specifically for that reason to kind of maneuver the cap. They'll be able to figure out a way to restructure a few guys here, cut a few guys here, make it work. You have a 2-year window here with Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers to Julio and Davante Adams could be the best quarterback to wide receiver duo of all time.
What's the Packers cap situation? Are they able
They
to
only
bring
have
on?
They only have about $6 million right now, give or take. So it's going to take them, moving Valdez-Scantling would shave off about, I think, $2.5 or $3 million. You'd probably have to, maybe you do a new deal for Julio. You tell him you're going to rip it up, give him a legit 3-year fully guaranteed deal to get that number down for this year. He wants to go to a winner, obviously. I'm sure Atlanta would like to move him out of the conference, but they're not going to compete this year. They really have no leverage at this point. So it just makes so much sense for the Packers to end this Rodgers nonsense that's going on, show them that they support him and love him, and give him a big warm hug and get him back into camp and, have this 2-year window for them.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous, honestly. If you had Julio Jones and Davante Adams, maybe the 2 best receivers in football right now on the same team, that'd be cray-cray. By the way, speaking of cray-cray, if you were at MSG last night, shout out.
We'll get on this. Don't you worry.
New York, go New York, go. We went buck wild at MSG. I was at Stout watching the game. I felt like I was at the game. If you were
OG Stout?
Yeah, the one we had our first draft party. Yeah.
Did you watch downstairs?
No, they wouldn't let me downstairs. I'm not allowed down there
after last time, and I'm blaming.
But no, MSG was wild. Like, if you haven't seen video footage of it, it was insane. I'm not even kidding.
I saw that dude spit on Trae Young.
Yeah. Well, Knicks fans are out of their damn minds right now.
We'll touch on that.
It's like, act like you've been there before. We haven't.
Yeah.
So
we haven't. You haven't. I don't need to claim another bad team.
It's funny. It's always the teams that have struggled in the past, that have like a history of struggling, that are the ones that their fans are the craziest. Mets, Jets, Knicks. It's like Eagles. The more you struggle, the crazier you are. Yeah. Eagles. But yeah, just getting into the Julio topic, I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. I think AJ Brown's been vouching for Julio. He's been coming out with TikTok videos and tweeting at Julio.
So funny,
he wants
video.
Yeah, it really was. Kind of weird, strange in a way, but because I've never really seen that before. Like, you ever see a receiver, a number one wide receiver, campaigning for another number one wide receiver to come in? So it's a little interesting there. But yeah, I'm going with the Titans. I think it's a great fit. You talk about Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and AJ Brown on the same offense. I mean, that's like freak 101 right there. Yeah. Like, you're not going to be able to stop those guys. So I think Tannehill could be good for Julio too, because he likes to chuck the ball all over the field. I think Julio would have would benefit a little bit from playing with Tannehill versus a Matt Ryan, who's a little bit more conservative. Tannehill's a little bit more of a gunslinger kind of style. So I just think the Titans would be great. It's not a big market either. I don't think Julio wants to go to a place where he has media people asking him questions after every game for hours. I think Tennessee just makes a ton of sense, and they want him, and they're a solid contender. They have money too. They have cap space, so I just think it makes sense all around.
And the thing is with Tannehill is Julio has said part of the reason why he wants out is because he thinks Matt Ryan has lost his touch. I mean, I don't think Ryan Tannehill is a top quarterback by any means, but the kid has an arm. So all you got to do is chuck it up, and Julio can make it happen. So I don't think that's an awful idea. Plus, like you said, the offensive weapons that they already have, add one more, and like you're looking at a legit shot. Mm-hmm. Mine, I think, is the most. I don't necessarily want to say improbable, but I think it's a little shot. More. Yeah, I think it's more of a long shot than yours. But I wasn't going to say the Patriots because same thing. If you know, why is he going to go to Cam Newton if he thinks Matt Ryan has lost his touch? Although that would be great, but whatever. I think the 49ers, if they're really all in on this one last shot with Jimmy, and then you bring Trey Lance and he's the guy. You groom him this year under Jimmy, but you give Jimmy one last shot. I think that could work well. They already have Brandon Ayuk, who proved last year that he has the potential to be a really strong receiver. The only thing that poses an issue with this idea is the Niners would kind of have to manipulate the cap. And I know, Nick, you said the cap is easily, maneuverable and whatever, but Julio's contract for this year is what, like $15 million? His payout would be $15 million. So they would have to do some work there. I actually did a little bit of research on this just because I didn't want to talk out of my you-know-what. Somebody's on, I think it was like the fan-sided Niners website or something. Somebody posed the idea of shedding Jimmy to take on Julio. And to that, I say, well, that's a little ass backwards. Because I don't know if Trey Lance is ready. I think that's the whole point is why they took Trey Lance, because he's not ready. You give him a year and he could be. But I think Julio in that offense would be good. And like somebody said, back with Shanahan, who was there with him for quite a while in Atlanta, knows how he plays, knows what his strengths and weaknesses are, knows what he needs to do at the quarterback position in order to highlight Julio's strengths. Like I said, I think it might be a long shot. They don't really have, like this comment says, they traded the farm for that move up in this draft. So if the report is true that the Niners really are looking for a first round pick, then I think that would take the 49ers out of it. But if it's a second and lower, why not at this point?
Yeah. Onto your guys' heads. Where's he going?
Raiders.
The Patriots. I just think Bill, it's been like such a long time coming with this storyline with Bill. I think he's going to pull the trigger. It's going to be too late, but he's going to do it, and it's not going to go as planned.
I
What do you think,
actually
Frank?
100% agree with what Bree just said.
Really?
I just think the Pats will come out and give up, a first, a second, and a fourth or something. I think they'll put a package together. But
you're too late.
What I heard was that they're not as interested as people are saying on the surface, and that the Raiders are definitely one of the teams who are. It wouldn't surprise me if they were the one who offered that future first round pick, not 2022, probably the 2023 pick, but I think it just makes so much sense. It's such a Raiders move to make. They're one of the teams.
You've been saying this for a while.
I don't know. Yeah, it just seems like it. And shout out to Lyle the Egg on Twitter for those Julio swaps. Those were really, really good and saved us some time to have Henry to go do some swaps for us. So I wanted to shout him out for those. Want to give credit.
What's his username?
Lyle the Egg.
That's his actual handle.
Yeah,
I like that. That's
and
a cool handle.
He does some really good swaps. I think he's a Jets fan because I've seen a few Jets swaps, but those guys do like swaps of all the new guys going to places and stuff. So it's always cool to follow. But probably by next week when we do the show, Julio will be on a new team. So we'll get to kind of dissect that and kind of talk about where he lands.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of good swaps with him. I think I've seen a Patriots one where whoever made it used the 49ers throwback numbers, like the block numbers with the black. And it's awful. So
Nick, why aren't the Jets rumored in this at all? I know Craig's commenting now in the chat. Shout outs to the chat's peeps. But why aren't the Jets in contention for Julio? I mean, we need a wide receiver, don't we? Wouldn't that help out Zach Wilson?
Sure, but they are about 5 deep at receiver of guys who can play. Brought on and invested a lot in Corey Davis, 2nd round pick in Mims, 2nd round pick in Elijah Moore. Jamison Crowder, who, you can say if you do bring in Julio, you can cut Crowder and save, really you'd only be netting about $5 million extra in cap because you would save 10 from Crowder. But I think they just they're on a different plan than Julio is. Julio wants to win now. The Jets want to really build this through the draft. The Jets have 2 1s and 2 2s, 2 4s next year. Like they're loaded with picks. They're going to have about $75 million in cap next year. They have 25 right now. They can definitely get it done. It's kind of the same thing with Watson when we talked about it, right? It's like they have the ammo, they have the money, they have the need, but they're just on a different plan right now. They're focusing on like the next 5 years where Julio's really trying to win this year and next year. So he's going to want to go to a team. I mean, it just lines up so perfectly with the Packers. They just don't make moves like that. And probably why Rodgers is so pissed and he wants out because they don't. But another team like the Colts to me is a team like, get aggressive for once. I know they went and they got the quarterback in Wentz, but I mean, that was more of like a low risk, a low kind of like, if he doesn't work out, you got a young quarterback for only a 2nd round pick, whatever. But this is a move. It's like the Colts can put themselves on the map with a move like this, and they have the money, they have the picks to do it too. So I don't know. I'd like to see a team get aggressive other than the Raiders just to go and do it because of the Raiders.
Yeah, there is something else here that I don't see people talking about much. It's Julio's willingness to play. I almost feel like the guy doesn't want to play football anymore. I have a weird feeling. I don't know. Is he going to give you that much value, Julio, right now?
He's always hurt.
I don't know. He's always hurt. He's getting old. Mm-hmm. He's been around the block. He almost won a Super Bowl and didn't. I mean, I just think he's almost demoralized with this whole situation too. Yeah.
Yeah, he could be. I mean, he could just be like, he might just need a new, it might be a resurgence if he goes to a different team. He might just be fed up in Atlanta. The same thing. They put up all these points and always find a way to lose. He's probably demoralized there. If he goes to a team and he starts, even if he has to take a step back where he's not getting the lion's share of all the targets, even if he is like a number 2 somewhere, he probably won't be. But, let's say he's not getting the majority of the targets, but they're winning. You might see like a refreshed Julio Jones, and maybe he stays healthier too.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. A change of scenery does wonders. You may not think that, but it's true. All right, moving on. Apparently, this was a hot topic on the app today.
Yep.
So let's kind of dive into it. Would you rather start, let's call it, I don't know if this is the right word because of these teams are, they've been, I guess, historically have been meh. But would you rather start a dynasty? Build a franchise around Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, or Lamar Jackson? I know right off the bat, and if there's any Patriots fans watching, you're probably going to smack me in the face for this, but I know who I'm picking. So Nick, you started first last time. So Frankie, let's go to you.
This is the easiest question of the day, of the week. I want to get producer Splash in here, Mr. Who runs the Lamar Jackson fan club. Splash, I'm adding you to the stream. Splash, how about these
Make sure he has
apples?
his pants on.
One, and the only right answer in this discussion is Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Out of those three, it's Josh Allen, especially considering where the game is, where it's going. It's Josh Allen. Clearly number one in that group. Second is Justin Herbert. Is second. Third is your boy Lamar Jackson. And you know I've defended Lamar Jackson in the past, so I'm not here to rip on Lamar. But out of those three, Lamar's third. It's just, it is what it is. Sorry, brother.
It's a cool hat, Splash.
Oh, thank you.
Not going for you.
Are you in Utah?
No, I'm home in Atlanta.
When you walk outside in Atlanta and you're wearing all that Utah stuff, do people think you're from Utah?
I don't think I talked to anyone today. Like I just did like normal 20-year-old. I went to Target. No one talked to me at Target.
Probably because you're wearing the Utah stuff.
Valid point. I do have an Acuna mask. So.
All right, so you blend that.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Splash, you have to defend your boy.
Okay, so I will say I understand the people that have a love relationship with Josh Allen. I liked him too. I really liked him as a prospect. I didn't think Baltimore was going to draft a quarterback in 2018, but I really did like Josh Allen as a prospect. And you go look at my Madden 19, whatever the year before Madden was. I had a franchise mode that I created over Christmas with the New York Jets. They drafted Josh Allen, and I won a Super Bowl with the New York Jets and Josh Allen.
Well, that's how you know it was fake.
Yeah, exactly. So I love me some Josh Allen, don't get me wrong. But if I'm defending Lamar Jackson, look at the three guys. One, Herbert has 1 year of doing anything in the NFL. 1 year. Josh Allen was horrific as a rookie, horrific in 2019, awesome in 2020. He has one good year. Lamar Jackson was horrific as a rookie, awesome as a second-year guy, and his step back, his downfall was better than most quarterbacks in the league. He had a 99.7 passer rating, something like that, had 30-plus total touchdowns, had over almost 4,000 total yards, missed a game as well. So Lamar does have 2 years of good play. Josh Allen has just one, and Justin Herbert has just one. And I made a post about this on the app recently that a lot of what Herbert did really well, think 2017 Carson Wentz. Third downs, awesome. Under pressure, awesome. In highly volatile stats, awesome. Herbert, everything he does well is kind of volatile. Deep balls, not every deep ball is going to hit. 3rd and 12. We look at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, who are unbelievable at that, and that's what makes Mahomes so special, and that's what makes Rodgers so special. Mahomes and Rodgers are the guys that convert on these volatile things all the time. And unless Herbert is Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to take a step back, but no one's going to care because he's not Lamar.
I can see that too.
So as much as I love Herbert and as much as I love Allen, if there is any regression from their awesome season, they're taking a step below Lamar Jackson. Like I think Herbert.
Out of those three, you're taking Lamar Jackson.
No, I have Josh Allen higher, but I'm in the devil's advocate picking Lamar Jackson. You saw the peak of Lamar, and then you saw him take a step back, and now you're going to see him creep back up towards that peak because you had that step back, and now it's like Mahomes. So 2018 Mahomes is unbelievable. 2019 Mahomes, not quite as good. You look at the stats, not quite as good, but he's probably a better quarterback. But you're not going to, he didn't throw 50 touchdowns in 2019. Who cares? They won the Super Bowl. So he's getting better and better, and he's going to creep back up towards that 50 touchdown, 5,000-yard passing season. With Allen, you don't know where he's going to fall to, unless you assume he's going to improve, which he had an awesome season. I would be shocked if he sucks this year. But I think there is some room for regression. There is some room for Stephon Diggs to not be the best receiver in football. There is some room in LA for one deep pass here to not hit to Jalen Guyton or Hunter Henry, friend of the show. Oh, he's not there anymore. What are the Chargers going to do? Throw it to their random 4th-round pick, Trey McKitty? I don't think so. Maybe he's a 3rd-round pick, whatever. I think I expect Lamar to have a better season. I think Allen and Herbert will take a slight step back. I'm not saying they're not going to be great. I think two of them are going to be depending on what happens to Watson. The Pro Bowlers in the AFC should be Mahomes and then two of the three guys we're talking about right now.
I think it was well said. I'm gonna bring the Herbert love here because I think we're taking these three quarterbacks out of their current situations and you're picking them out of a vacuum to start your own team with. And when I look at these guys, Herbert and Allen have the similar builds. They're big. They can take a hit. They can move around. Allen will take a lot more hits because he's going to run a lot more. And then you have a guy who's totally different in Lamar, who is going to run again. And you don't want to take hits if you're Herbert or Allen too, but Lamar, you definitely don't want to take as many hits. And I think splash to your Josh Allen to the Jets Super Bowl dream is if he would have been drafted to the Jets and they went through the coaching staffs that they went to, he probably would have been out of the league, not even traded, because he probably would have been worse than the Sam Darnold was just because he was so raw. And, the Bills did a great job. I think so, because I think the Bills did a great job of supporting him, surrounding him, tailoring that offense around what he does. The Jets did none of that. And Lamar too. The Ravens did a great job of running their offense through him and what he does best. Greg Roman, hate him or love him, I'm not a huge fan, but he did a good job of making that offense work around Lamar Jackson and not having Lamar do something that he's not comfortable with. But I think Lamar is limited as a passer, so that's why he's third on my list. Josh Allen, I'm not the biggest fan of. I know a lot of it seems like you guys all are huge fans. I think he's very prone to a big turnover. I think he's still an inaccurate passer. Yes, he improved greatly from year 1, 2 to 3. Again, what Splash said, Diggs was like the best receiver in football last year. They protected solidly. They don't have a great line, but they protected solidly. I think their offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, is great. He stayed another year, so that's huge for his development. I think McDermott is a great coach. I think having fans back, a little more pressure on Josh Allen. I think you're going to see a step back from him. For me, with Herbert, he came in and lit the league on fire. One of only 4 quarterbacks to throw over 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, broke the record for a rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, whatever. I think a guy like Herbert is built, to take not only take hits. He's not that you're not worried about injuries with him as much. Obviously, he could get hurt. Anybody can get hurt, but he's big. He can move. He can throw the ball down the field. He's got that that intangible, in my opinion. I think Lamar lacks that a little bit, but I think Allen somewhat has that. But to me, I think Herbert is the least turnover prone. I think if you put him as a blank slate and just say I'm picking one quarterback, I'm going to take a guy in Herbert who bursted onto the scene, by far was better than these two guys were in their first year. And I think they improved. If we take a step back and talk about the teams that they're currently on, I think you got rid of one of the worst coaches in football on Anthony Lynn. Their offensive coordinator was terrible. The staff was terrible. They were just a mess and just found ways to lose. And the reason why they hung around was because of Herbert. Now you get a guy in Brandon Staley. You hope that he's a better head coach than Anthony Lynn. It won't be too hard to do that. So I think they're building a better team. The offensive line is better. They drafted Rashawn Slater. They're going to be healthier. Obviously, they'll get the running back. Eckler is going to be healthy, hopefully, this year. He missed a bunch of games. So I think he did all of that with not a great running game, not many weapons out of the backfield to kind of dump that easy pass off to. So I think Herbert, to me, is just like a superstar in the making. So I'm taking him.
So I'm gonna combine both of your answers, and
pick
I have
Lamar Jackson.
Shut up. I have Josh Allen at 1A, and there's stipulations to this. Josh Allen is 1A, Justin Herbert is 1B, and the only reason why I have Justin Herbert at 1B is because we have 1 year worth of a sample size, and his 1 year was great. For a rookie quarterback, it was fantastic, and I think his mechanics are about as good as it can get.
Clean.
And Josh Allen, he had a great year. I still think he's an average quarterback. That may be my Patriots bias shining through, but the first 2 years, especially his first year, I thought the Bills were, in for another couple decades worth of misery. In comparison to what, like I said, we saw Justin Herbert do last year. If Herbert has a year, I won't say the same, but similar to the production he put out last year. He may, like Splash said, if he regresses a little bit, I still think he's going to be better than Allen. I really hope the coaching change helps him because I feel like Anthony Lynn, like you said, great guy, seems like an awesome dude, not the best head coach, better coordinator than head coach.
Herbert wouldn't even have played if Anthony Lynn got his wish and Tyrod didn't get hurt. He wasn't even going to play. I mean, that tells you enough there.
I just think I need one more year worth of watching Herbert before I make a definitive decision to say, like, he's the guy I want to build around. But Josh Allen has like one interception to change my mind. And then Lamar is at 3. I just don't have.
I have a question for both you guys. Who was the best player in the AFC last year? Number 1.
Oh, Herbert.
Quarterback?
Player. Who was the most valuable player in the AFC last year?
Oh, that.
I'll give you a hint. He's in this conversation. It's not Justin Herbert. It's Josh Allen. Josh Allen was the best player in the AFC last year. And I honestly think if it was up to me, I would have given him the MVP award. I would have given it to him. They went 13-3, the Bills. They had new pieces everywhere. He bursts onto the scene. Yeah, he does things a little bit unorthodox, but he is perfect for today's NFL, Josh Allen, because he can run. He can launch it. He's got decent enough touch. He's not necessarily the most but Herbert doesn't have the playmaking skills that Josh Allen does. He doesn't. He's not. I want to see Herbert in a big spot. I mean, if you're going to bring a blitz against Josh Allen on a 3rd and long, he's going to avoid pressure and maybe find someone downfield. Is Herbert able to do that?
The playoffs, and he's going to run 20 yards into the backfield and then fumble it. Like,
young
quarterback
very
mistakes
impressive.
He makes, but Allen
and he was impressive in clutch moments too, for sure. Allen surprised me last year because I didn't think he had those like you said, those little moments where you have to tune in a little bit more and get more out of somebody or make a play because somebody ran the wrong route. Allen was able to extend plays. He was able to put the ball on like a Cole Beasley. He stepped up, and obviously Diggs just brought a ton of confidence to Allen, and the staff did a great job. But no, Allen, to me, I'll definitely admit, like, I didn't love Allen coming in at all to the league, and I thought he was going to struggle because he was horribly inaccurate, and he was throwing some like worm digger balls. It was crazy, but he really did improve. But to me, I think Herbert is a cleaner, like to what Bree said, the footwork, the release. The pocket presence, I think he's got a little more pocket presence than Allen because Allen does look to move a little bit first, but he does set his feet and he's clean. He's cleaned up a lot. But I think Herbert is just like Herbert reminds me of a better version of Ben, like a more like athletic version of Ben.
I think you can make a career in the NFL by extending plays. Look at Russell Wilson. He's made a career out of being able to extend plays and finding receivers downfield. I think Josh Allen has things that Russell Wilson doesn't have. Size. His arm too is bigger. He throws a deeper ball than Russ, and you're taking his ability to extend plays. This guy's a freak, Josh Allen. I'm just saying. I don't think we've ever seen a quarterback like him before, have we? A guy his height with his arm and is able to move.
Than Cam.
You want to talk about like Ben Roethlisberger 2.0? Yeah, he's literally he's like a better version of Cam.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean it's really impressive, and the league now. I mean, you're seeing some quarterbacks coming in now to the NFL that are just freaks. I mean, we're gonna see what happens with Trey Lance, but there's a bunch of guys coming in now that are of this kind of Allen mold, and you're gonna start seeing more and more quarterbacks that are able to just run and launch the ball downfield, and they have that size. I mean, not to go on a tangent, but I don't remember, let's say 10 years ago, there wasn't one quarterback like this. Literally. Did we have any type of quarterback
guys.
like Mahomes or Allen? I mean, we had none of those guys when 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So the league is like really changing right now. It's wild.
One more thing before we move on from it. My thing with Josh Allen, aside from the fact that I really just don't think he's as good as last year last year's play. I don't.
It's because you've seen the bad from him. You haven't seen the bad from Herbert yet.
Right.
That's why.
Bree, I'm sorry, but Josh Allen's he's going to be your daddy in the AFC East.
Oh, get the hell
and
out
for the
of here.
foreseeable future.
He did Dookie.
I'm going to get you. By the way, another nice shirt you're wearing on the show. I'll give you props. You always rock cool shirts. That's little Juventus. Yeah.
You never say nice things about me, Frank.
My one thing with Josh Allen is he's going into his 4th year now.
Mm-hmm.
I need people to stop giving him the young quarterback excuse. Like you had 3 full years in the league now. The mistakes in the playoffs, the mental lapses in the playoffs, that can't be. You can't give him the benefit of the doubt anymore. Saying, "Oh, well, he's a young quarterback. Like as he progresses, he'll grow through that." Like that was his 3rd year.
But he did win 2 playoff games.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. How many Super Bowls did Tom Brady win in his 3 years?
Well, I mean, he was kind of carried in the first run, but
you know what? Nick, these Patriots fans, they're the biggest haters
they hate
of
everybody.
the Bills.
Yeah, they hate
everybody. They hate the Bills. They don't care
they're
about
scared
the
of
Jets.
the Bills right now.
Why the hell am I going to like the Bills? Why the hell do I like you guys? I mean,
you better. I'm telling you,
I don't
the Bills.
Like the Bills
the uSTADIUM motto is bust their ass. The Bills are going to bust your asses this year in the AFC East, the Patriots, and I'm going to love every second of it. And after you guys lose to them twice, I'm going to text you, Bree, with the Josh Allen gif. I'm going to do it.
Is that before or after the Patriots beat you guys twice? Just asking for a friend.
Before.
Anyway.
Cam's plan will split.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's working out with a quarterback coach, so we'll see if that does him any good. Who the hell knows? We decided to play a fun game today. We made up a spinning wheel of hell, essentially, because it's all of the worst teams in the league are on that wheel, and we need to spin it, and whatever it lands on, we need to decide why they're not going to suck this year, essentially. So if we could pull that up, Splash.
Did we just lose Splash? I think he left.
I think Splash just got canceled by StreamYard.
Oh shit.
Well,
but yeah, the game. But we're doing a wheel, and it's from last to first. And honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of teams this year that are going to surprisingly achieve, be able to overachieve in many ways and potentially go to first place. I think with the way the off seasons are now, with an extra game on the schedule, things are changing in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So whereas preparation is different with COVID, you're going to see some teams that maybe aren't as prepared or are prepared and are able to get, have a fluky season here and there. So
Splash is back.
This is going to be fun.
Splash, are you with us?
Woo!
There's the wheel of hell.
Why are the Jets on there?
Because the Jets
they were in last place.
Bree, you better watch your mouth, all right?
Jeez. All right, let's put Bree on the spot.
We got a lot of Jets. We got a lot of Jet fans over here.
I know.
Let's put Bree on the spot for once.
Yeah,
we
I'll
always
go
first. Splash, spin the wheel for Bree, and she has to make. And you're going to judge this, Splash. Who makes the best? Not that you agree with the team, but who makes the best argument? Let's go that.
I haven't.
So whoever this lands on,
so this should be fun.
Whoever this lands on, please be the Jets.
All right. The
Jaguars. All right. Well,
make the
first
argument.
of all,
Why?
They have Tim Tebow at tight end, so obviously, loser that guy is. No, but
the opposite of a loser.
Oh, please! I think the Jaguars. Does that have to be worst to first?
In the division. That's kind of an easy one. The division is not very good.
The Titans are going to win that division.
They lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their 2 starting corners. They lost their tight end.
I don't know. Anyway, Trevor Lawrence.
There you go. That's a good start.
Let's go. First overall pick, Sunshine. I think Urban Meyer. I don't like Urban Meyer. I never have. I do think he's a decent coach. Probably, I would say, better suited for college than the NFL. But I do think having a rookie quarterback might help him in that regard. And I don't like the fact that they took Travis Etienne in the first round, but I do like the fact that they are both Clemson players. They know each other's movements, each other's gameplay. And if Etienne needs to be used in the passing game, I think that's going to help out both him and Trevor Lawrence. Shit. What else? DJ Chark. DJ Chark.
ETN's gonna be really good, by the way.
He's a good player, man.
He's really good. He's been good for a while.
They get the other Josh Allen back healthy this year.
What other receiver went to the
and Splash's boy LaVisca Chenault.
Marvin Jones Jr.
LaVisca
Mike,
Chenault
we might need you to come on. Mike 1625, the resident Jaguar fan, might need to come and save Bree here, I think.
I'm just like LaVisca Chenault was my backup flex receiver for fantasy last year, and he helped me out a few times. So okay, he gets my vote. I think this is a hard one. This is a really tough task to.
Dude, this is why this is fun though, because you can't prepare here. Like it's you're
all
just,
right. The closing argument's over.
Splash should have came in with the judge.
Yeah, the buzzer.
The defendant has been found guilty. Bree, you're done.
Yeah. No, that was
making
bad.
A terrible argument for the Jaguars.
Listen, if there's any Jags fans out there, trust me, I tried.
Mike,
that's a tough one.
Mike, give us a 2-sentence comment on why they're going last to first, and then we'll spin the wheel. Frank, you want it or me?
Yeah, let me go.
Go ahead.
I'm feeling lucky.
All right, Splash, spin it, baby.
I'm feeling lucky.
Who do you want here, Frank?
You know who I want?
I would have rather have the Broncos.
Give me the 49ers. Easiest argument in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Do not give me the Bengals.
You lucky shit.
I am a lucky mofo.
We should have taken them off.
I've been doing well. I put money on the Knicks last night. I won.
You know what's going to happen? The Niners no chance they finish in first.
Potentially, but they will, Nick, because I have to make the argument.
All right, what do you got?
All right. No, I think the Niners, honestly, out of teams in that division, I think that the Cardinals are going to take a step back. I think the Cardinals are a bit overrated. The Seahawks, I think, are getting at the end of their sort of, Super Bowl run prowess, and I think they're getting all tired in that locker room. The Rams are the one team in that division, but I think there's a lot of unknowns with Stafford and how that system's going to run. The Niners, their running game is always elite. They have Debo's going to be healthy, hopefully, for the year. Brandon Ayuk is amazing, I think, as well. Kittle will be healthy. I mean, last year they were savaged by injury. So this year they can come out. Yeah. I actually think they should play Garoppolo also this year. I think if Jimmy plays, he wins games, Jimmy, at the end of the day. I mean, you can bash the guy as much as you want, but his record speaks for itself. He does win a lot more than he loses. He has one of the best win-loss percentages out of starters in the NFL. So I think if you play Jimmy and you run the ball the way they like to run the ball, I could easily see them winning that division again. So Shanahan, that style, he knows what he's doing. Last year it was just injury riddled, and I think the Niners, they have some flair about them, I think, and this is going to be their year, I think, where they could easily go from last to first.
It's probably the easiest argument anybody could have made.
Yeah, you got it made there, Frank. All right, Splash. Don't give me the Jets, please.
You're definitely getting Nick. You're gonna get the Lions. I'm calling it. Bree, who do you think he's gonna get?
I don't think I can make an argument for the Lions.
He's gonna get the Bears. The Bears even on there? No.
All right. Spin it again.
Jaguars.
No, spin it again.
Yeah,
Mike just made the argument.
Fine
Offense
here.
looks strong on paper with additions and free agents and players.
There you go,
getting healthy.
Mike, that was Mike's spin.
That's a resident Jaguar fan. That's his reasoning. I still think it was a little weak, but hey, they're building.
Did I get the Lions?
Did I get the Lions?
No, you get the Falcons.
Oh man! All right. I could do this. All right. They're gonna keep Julio. That's the de facto here. So you draft Kyle Pitts, who is an absolute freak, who's going to be just a mismatch all over the place, and you have Julio on one side, Calvin Ridley on the other. I wish they would have upgraded the running game a little bit. I don't think Mike Davis is kind of a guy who you're going to give him like 25 carries a game, but I think he will help because their running game was pretty terrible last year. Arthur Smith is an interesting coach. If he follows the trend of the Gase replacement, he might go in there year one and really kind of rejuvenate the Falcons. What about on their defense? Their defense isn't too exciting, and they didn't add too many pieces. They kind of actually lost a few in Keanu Neal.
And they have one of the hardest divisions in football. But
they are in a hard division.
The Saints.
I think the Saints are taking a step back. I think the Panthers aren't very good yet, and they have Darnold. And the Bucks, it's tough with Brady, but they didn't win the division last year. We all forget that. Like the Falcons were in almost every game and had the lead in almost every game. And if you put Matt Ryan in a better offensive system, don't have to have him play like Superman at the end of these games. Let them be more of a, control the clock, not this like air it out offense where they're throwing it all over the turf and indoors. I think if they're able to run it a little bit more, control the game. Arthur Smith, obviously, you saw what he did with Tannehill and Derrick Henry in Tennessee. If you bring a little bit of that offense here with these weapons that they have in Atlanta, obviously that is if they keep Julio Jones. Even if they don't, Ridley and Pitts are two great pass catchers, so that's going to help. And I think they're going to be able to outscore a lot of teams that they play. I'm just worried about them in any kind of close game where they're going to have to play tight defense and beat a team like 20-17. I don't think they're built for that yet. I do like their new GM, Terry Fontenot. I think he's going to kind of put a better team in place going forward. But I don't think it'll be this year. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they add any safety, maybe Malik Hooker in free agency. They definitely need somebody in the back end, but I don't think
they still have Matt Ryan.
I know. That's the thing. Yeah, Matt Ryan, Pitts,
Matt Ryan wins games, so.
Yeah, and they were in every game last year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, my.
Did I win on the argument, or do I win? Splash, you can come in for this. Do I win on the argument, or do I win on the you agree with the team?
Splash said if I said Laviska Shenault, I win. So
see, you should have done it.
Oh I said it. I said it. He was on my fantasy team last year. That should count for something.
But you got to know Splash loves Shenault. I think he has his jersey. You should have really honed in on that. Wow. I guess Splash maybe he doesn't have his pants on. He doesn't want to come into the chat. But anyway,
that's like me having a Gunnar Olszewski jersey. It's like random.
A little bit.
For a little bit. All right, so
we kind of unprepared, and you can't really kind of prepare for what the wheels got to offer.
Yeah. God, that sucked. I wish I got the Broncos. That would have been fun. All right. Do you guys want to do around the sports world updates, or do you want to do questions first?
Let's hit up some questions. If you guys are in the chat, post your questions. We'll get to them. We have a few, so we'll just answer a few questions.
So
and then
Javier's is a good one because we saw two, I guess, instances of this last night where fans are just out of pocket, disrespectful for no reason. So last night, Russell Westbrook walking off the court with an ankle injury, I think it was, and a Philadelphia 76ers fan decided to dump his thing of popcorn on Russ. And if Russ didn't get held back, he probably would have gone up there and beat this kid's ass.
Doesn't this happen to Russ a lot? Like,
hasn't
that happened multiple times? Like people doing shit at sidelines. What are they like? Are these kids or like grown dudes?
This guy looked like he was around my age, so mid-20s ish.
I'm not gonna lie.
Ratted him out like
I saw that. They like pointed like it was.
Yeah, they were like, no.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that he did it. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
Like, where do these kids get the balls to do this?
Russell Westbrook needs to relax, though. Like, I understand these fans are crazy, and at the Knicks game, some fans spit like by Trae Young
on him.
Honestly, it's you're in an arena, it's packed, people are drinking. Yeah, you should not be throwing stuff. Ban them. I don't know why it's always taken to like another level though, where it's like what Derrick Rose said the other day about fans saying like, F you Trae Young chants at the Garden. This happens. It's like what's I don't know. I know it's a little bit too far, but I just think too many people make big deals out of this. Russ gets popcorn thrown on him. I understand that sucks. But dude, you're a multi-millionaire athlete. You're going to go in the stands maybe, or you want to. Like, it's just bad for your image as a player. Like, I understand there's a line and these fans are crossing it, but, like, you can't go into this. You can't have any interactions with fans in the stands. You just cannot. If they do something, you have to report it. Bria, what's he going to do? Go in the stands and do what happened like Malice in the Palace again?
Yeah,
that's fine.
Honestly, these fans that, like, their balls get so big to the point where they think that they can do this and like nothing's going to happen to them. Like what the hell did you think was going to happen? You weren't going to get kicked out. You weren't going to get your season tickets revoked. Like, first of all, these athletes can kick your ass without question. Mm-hmm. Why are you going to put yourself in a position to do something, one, disrespectful? You're paying all this money to watch this person play a sport. You're essentially contributing to their salary. You are the fan. Why are you going to be disrespectful? They don't have to be out there doing this for you. Yeah. So it's that on top of the fact where we just went 14 months without being able to go to live sporting events. That's how you're going to act when you come back. You're going to act like a 5-year-old child. Like, give me a freaking break.
Yeah, I think it has less, like, Frank, what you said about with the FU Trae Young and Trae Young is balding, like, that stuff's fun. It's like, yeah, it's like maybe a little too far with cursing. Like, I don't give a shit. As you know, I just cursed on here, but like, that's fun. Young was buying into it. He was vibing off it. It drove him to play better. But with the Westbrook thing, like, yeah, maybe his like attitude and the way he like the demeanor after the game was like, all right, relax, Russ. But in the moment, it's like, where do these kids get off like thinking they can throw shit at these players like they're like circus animals? Like
exactly
these dudes, like you said, Bree, like you wouldn't do this if you saw him out in the street. Like I don't get like why you think you can throw shit at somebody playing a sport. Like it would never run through my mind. Like even if I was drunk at a game, it would never run through my mind to throw shit at like a player playing basketball.
But what's the culpability factor? Do you blame Russ? Is Russ wrong at all in how he reacted to the situation? You
can't react like seen it happen a lot.
At this point, no, people are making. He's been Russ the target of this. So many times.
You agree with the way Russ like was trying to go into the stands? Like you're totally okay with it.
Frank, if enough people walked up to you and poked you right square in the forehead, wouldn't there be a breaking point and you get pissed off and you turn around and punch him in the face? That's the same thing.
I know, but you got to be a little bit careful with your image as Russ, as a pro player that's worth millions of dollars. You have to have some decorum on the court. I know. And listen, this is coming from me. I've done stupid stuff before. I've got into issues with people. I've said things, done things that I maybe regretted after the fact. That was an emotional response, but I just think you need to just like chill. You need to take a step back. They're throwing stuff. You're in a packed arena. There's tens of thousands of people in there drinking, going nuts. I don't know. Sometimes I think these guys don't want to be out there. I honestly don't think so. I think some of these NBA players, they don't want to be playing. They think like Nick was saying, they're part of this circus or something that like, and they almost feel like they're being like disrespected, which I get. But dude, like you're a basketball player. You're going to have to deal with stuff. You're going to have to deal with media questions. You're going to have to go there after you lose and answer media. You're going to have to deal with crap. I'm just saying you cannot react like that. I understand him being mad and saying something after the game about it. And the NBA does a great job with identifying the fan, banning them. But you're just opening up Pandora's box if you're not telling Russ. You cannot act like – the NBA should say to Russ, I think you can't act like that, because if enough players see that, someone's going to go into the stands like Steven Jackson did or Ron Artest, and you're going to get Malice in the Palace again.
What's that phrase, though?
For doing it.
F around and find out. Like you wanna do some stupid shit? Fuck around and find out.
I don't think Russ is tough anyway. I think he was kind of he knew he was going to get held back. Maybe he just wanted to see who threw it just to be able to like – tell him to fuck off or something. I don't think he was going to actually go and fight the guy, but maybe a kid like him, a 23-year-old kid, thinks he can come to the stadium and throw popcorn. Maybe he needs to get his ass kicked, to be honest with you. Like, absolutely. I wouldn't be too disappointed to see that. I think what happened, obviously you're throwing, popcorn at a player walking out hurt. The circumstances are worse. But I think spitting at Trae Young is way worse than throwing popcorn at a fan. Like, that's like the weakest and like most like messed up thing you could do is spit at somebody. It's like extremely like offensive. Vile. Like how are you going to spit? You're 2 rows back, spitting over somebody else to spit onto a guy because he hit a shot to beat your team and told you to shut up. It's like what is wrong with these people? Like, Trae Young should have probably turned around and knocked the dude out. Like I would have probably liked to see that.
Sitting right there.
You guys are this is insane to me. You guys are nuts. Yeah, and it does matter you're a millionaire. Yeah, it does matter. You're a millionaire. You're not going to punch someone in the face because what happens is your $1 million checks when you hit somebody. Ask Steven Jackson what happened with his checks after Malice in the Palace. You're at a different level, guys. Like you're the CEO, you're top line, you're top notch. You're doing endorsement deals with the best brands in the world. You're an international icon. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but nobody's spitting on Mark Zuckerberg because they don't like a like button on the fucking Facebook. These guys are getting spit on and thrown shit. You don't know what someone's going to throw at Russell Westbrook the next time. It could be a fucking phone and knock him out.
Do we know if this kid that spit on Trae Young was vaccinated? Like at this point, we're trying to come out of a pandemic in a safe way. Do we know if he looked like the biggest greaseball to crawl out of New York? Sorry, guys. I know you're New Yorkers.
Remember you said that about me one time?
Did I? You probably deserved it.
It's like...
By the way, shout outs to everyone in the chat. You guys are crushing it. We got Lamar, MF. You're killing it, dude. I think you're on Periscope. Craig Lloyd's in the chat. We have Cole NYI 27. Javi's in the chat. Mike's in the chat. We have Shed Sports. Noah's in there. Shout outs to all you guys. You guys are crushing it. Listen, disagree with me. That's fine. And maybe
I get what you're saying, Frank. Like,
I'm just saying
he should be held to a higher standard. Like Russell Westbrook.
You have to, don't you?
But I think with him, it's like, and I'm not even an NBA fan. I didn't see it live. Like, but I remember seeing, like, I feel like this is like the fourth time this has happened to Russ. Like, someone has thrown shit at him, right? Like, am I wrong? I feel like this happens all the time.
Shit he's dealt with in Utah would be enough for me if anybody threw anything at me to be enough to try to go up in the stands and smack their mouth.
Yeah, and he wasn't going to fight nobody. He wanted to look like he was tough, you know. So
obviously not, but like I said, at this point,
I wouldn't mind to see a punk ass kid get knocked out. That's just my thought.
If your balls are that big to the point where you think it's okay to throw stuff at an athlete, to spit on an athlete, it's a game. Please remember, it's a game.
Yeah.
First of all, this isn't life or death. It's a game. If anybody ever did that to either of these guys on the street, you're telling me they wouldn't try to fight them? Like, come on. Just use your heads for me one time, or else they're going to go back to not letting us in the buildings. And then what?
Yeah. I think I get more mad at it, Frank, because I deal with, as somebody who, we run the uSTADIUM app and, run a business and a brand. And there's a lot of times where I feel like I could go off on somebody who said something about me or an opinion or the brand. And I kind of have to hold my tongue a bit. So seeing somebody actually, snap back at like a wise ass kid, I think I'm all for it. So I think that's probably why I kind of lean on Westbrook here. And I'm sure you feel the same way there.
Yeah. That's my new motto. Fuck around and find out.
Nice. Oh, should make a t-shirt.
Yeah, no, we really like that shit. That I'll wear it for every show. Fuck around and find out. Like, you want to act out of pocket, I'll act out of pocket right back.
That's what Pop Smoke used to say too.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I was listening to him last night. I
actually like Pop Smoke.
Just to end this conversation, it's not a coincidence it's happening to Russell Westbrook. The guy is a little bit little crazy, a little bit on, like, he's on tilt all the time. I mean, come on. It's not like a crazy analysis there. Yeah. He's always look at how he play. I love Russell Westbrook. Most underrated maybe player in basketball. Maybe one of the most underrated players I think maybe in history. I do, but it's not a coincidence. It happens to him. The guy is on like 17 cups of coffee, freaking flying. People piss him off. He's had issues with the media. He's not wrong. I'm not saying he's not wrong, but he's not right.
Okay, that's fair.
Hey, we got a whole nother like 24 to 48 hours.
Shout out gangs on our podcast. Not
no, you can't be doing that.
Got to get Kwame Brown on here soon.
Dude, we got another 24 to 48 hours. Oh man, that would be a disaster.
What happened
with Kyrie Irving? With Kyrie Irving returning to Boston tomorrow night, and we all saw his comments. I'm not going to get into it because
another guy who doesn't want to play.
He's really just not worth my time anymore. Like, I'm so sick of this guy and his
That's an easy sweep.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I went into it knowing that they were going to get rocked.
Yeah.
It's fine. The season's been over for about 3 weeks now.
They put a good half of basketball together.
And I don't even remember it. That's how my Saturday night went. I don't even remember.
Can you update? Is the first round of hockey over? Like the whole thing?
For some teams, because it was start times were staggered because of COVID, and some seasons ended before. The Bruins' second round starts on Saturday night against the New York Islanders. I will be there Saturday night, TD Garden, 8 p.m. I'm so excited.
Wait, the Islanders won?
They won last night.
Oh, sick. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So restrictions in Massachusetts.
We're taking the Bruins out back, baby. Let's go. New York,
restrictions in Massachusetts lift on Saturday, so it's going to be a full house for the first time in over a year, and it's going to be awesome.
It feels like sports are back. Like just watching the Garden and watching, some of the baseball games. It's just, and then the NFL like announcing training camps will be open and 100% at MetLife and all these other stadiums. It just feels like that weird year of last year, which I couldn't really get into any of these sports, and now it just feels like we're kind of back, so that's great.
Yep. So we've got a few games tonight. We got let's see. We have Toronto and Montreal. Toronto's looking to win that series tonight. We got a game 7 tomorrow night between Vegas and Minnesota, which should be a really good one.
Damn.
And
you saying Montreal makes me miss that city. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. Montreal's an amazing city.
Frank, right?
City's
No,
great.
they're not. They're not.
Crazy.
I might go though.
Canada's rough.
Yeah. Nick and I are recently vaccinated. We got the AstraZeneca vaccine. Yeah. So if anyone needs any of those, by the way, just
gotta connect.
Yeah, I gotta connect for it. So
why
didn't AstraZeneca? By the way, why didn't anyone get it here? It's only
I don't think it's available here.
They had some. I believe they had a few issues pop up in the clinical trials here.
Yeah, I don't think Fauci could make enough money.
So they just allowed it in England or something, but
it was approved overseas because my cousin got it and he lives in England and that's the one he got. I'm not sure about here. I think that's what it was, but
Fauci
I don't know. I got
money.
Pfizer and I'm all set. So all right, do we have time for
bring that
more?
up? Yeah, bring up Javier's. We have to show this. This is and Splash. I don't know if you have the video. This with the Cubs and the Pirates today with Javi Baez. Javier Rodriguez just asked the thoughts on the Pirates botch earlier today. It was honestly, Frank, I don't know. I think you might have saw because we talked about a quick splash. If you're there, do you have that?
I thought it was the Mets.
Loaded up?
That stuff only happens to the Mets. So I was
honestly,
surprised they were.
The Mets are like a minor league roster, but they swept the doubleheader today, and they're 3 games up. All right.
Baez hits it on the ground to third. Gonzalez.
2 outs here. This dude at first base needs to just step on the bag, and it's over. The inning. Baez is running down to get this guy to score.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Baez,
you got to be kidding
Baez
me.
That's wild.
You got to be kidding me.
Look, he ends up at
you
second.
Have got to be kidding me. Javi Baez. Keep going. Go. You're invisible.
Bro, I have never seen. So there's 2 outs there. Runner on second, 2 outs. Ground ball. The first baseman catches it 5 feet in front of the bag. All he has to do, the runner on second, if he scores before, for whatever reason, touches home before he touches first, it doesn't matter. There's 2 outs. All this dude has to do is step on first. For whatever reason, he brain lapsed, and he starts chasing Baez down. And Baez not only goes and the runner from second, I think it was Contreras, the catcher, scores, slides in. Baez has enough time to signal safe. He's standing there saying safe. Gets up, gets to first base, and ends up on second base and a run score. That type of play is the reason why baseball and basketball and other sports, they need to cut 2 or 3 teams out, get rid of these franchises and put their players on other teams, just kind of do a fantasy draft or something. There's too many bad teams in these sports, and the Pirates, they shouldn't be allowed to play there. Wouldn't happen in Little League. If the second baseman came and tackled the first baseman and stole the ball from him and ran to touch first, he would have gotten Baez out in time. So that was, you could see it again. If you guys didn't see it, or for whatever reason you want to see it again, go to the uSTADIUM MLB Instagram. That is the craziest play I've ever seen.
I think the best part is Anthony Rizzo in the Cubs dugout just
straight up laughing at
cackling.
Yeah,
that's so disrespectful. It's so funny.
Right? But that's
the best part is Baez. Bro, he is standing there calling him safe, and the catcher doesn't think to go and tag him, or nothing kicked in any of these guys.
I think the first baseman maybe thought he was playing third or something. He just had
he probably just got thrown off, not knowing it was a force or something, or knowing there was 2 outs.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird as heck.
I've never seen a play like that before. On first?
It's always a force
crazy.
out at first, though. Like, I don't understand why that wasn't his first instinct, was to just step on the bag.
It's just a team who knows they're out of it, or like they're not competing this year and they're just out there just kind of going through the motions. And the first baseman just like didn't know what the situation was, saw Baez trying to get in a rundown. So he probably figured like, hey, there's one out. This guy's trying to score, trying to get his guy in from third, and just completely had a brain lapse.
That's so funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
Anyway, we touched on a lot today. This is probably one of our more productive shows since we've started.
Yeah.
Frank, we haven't had a show in freaking, it feels like a month now. The Knicks, it's over, bro. It's our series. It's done. The Knicks, if you are in New York City, make sure you're watching the games outside of MSG in that area, that general area. Go New York, go New York, go. We're doing it. This is our year. We're going to beat the Hawks. We're winning in 5, by the way. Knicks in 5. That was trending all last night. Knicks in 5. Reggie Bullock's back, my guy. Taj Gibson, the most underrated player on the team. The Knicks, baby. It's all about the Knicks right now. About damn time we got some life at the Garden. It's actually really nice to see the city right now opening back up and people are out and celebrating. It's like people were stuck in cages literally for the last year. So it's nice to see people getting out of their studios. And you have to understand something. COVID in New York is different than COVID in other places. People live in boxes. Like this office is bigger than some studios in the city, this office. So when people in New York were under COVID situations, it was more intense because you're stuck in a little room and you're paying a lot of money. You could imagine the stress factor there. So now people are just going buck wild. It's pretty crazy.
That's how it's going to be in Boston this weekend. I am excited. I got Bruins Saturday night, TD Garden, full house, and then Red Sox Sunday afternoon, full house. I'm about to have myself a weekend.
Thanks for the invite, Bray. You see, Nick, she doesn't invite us to anything. God forbid you ask me. Yeah.
No way. Remember we went up to Boston, Frank, that weekend a couple years ago at Fenway?
Don't bring it. Let's not talk about that weekend.
I don't.
Basically, I had no idea where the hotel was. I was hopping in and out of different cabs.
But you made it home.
Yeah, like I was hopping in and out of subways. I didn't know where I was going.
Oh man! All I know is that if you don't know the T, and you're doing that, you're screwed.
Yeah, and that cab driver took me for a ride, literally. Man. Well, not literally. That's kind of weird, but he took my credit card for a ride.
All right, they do that here. If you're not a local, you don't know where you're going, they will take you the longest route possible and rack that up.
Yeah, it's a garbage city.
That's how they do it. Chill out.
By the way, just a tip for people traveling in probably most cities: take cabs now. They're cheaper than Ubers. I don't know what the hell's going on. Ubers are ridiculous. You take an Uber 20 blocks in the city, it's $40. Like what? A cab's like $12-$14, literally the same distance. I don't know what the hell's going on with Uber and Lyft right now, but do yourselves a favor out there. Take a damn cab now. They're a lot cheaper than Uber and Lyft. Also, they don't want to bring pools back. So Uber pool is nice.
You need more Biden bucks to afford the gas up here too.
Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah, gas is fine. Man,
that's why.
I drive a little Honda, and it took $30 to fill up my tank the other day. It's like I'm back driving my Jeep. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get down a rabbit hole of that stupidity, we're going to, get out of here. So
I think we need a dark web episode, Frank. We'll put the anonymous masks on.
Yeah.
To, muffle our voices. One's in the chat if you guys will listen to that.
No.
The dark web episode. I'm down for it.
We got to get out of here. We might start selling organs on the black market before this is all said and done.
Everyone make sure, by the way, if you have the app, turn on your push notifications. We're going to do some cool stuff next week. So if you have the uSTADIUM app, just get your push notifications on. And yeah, we're going to be rocking and rolling on some contests soon, too. I've been speaking with Nick, so maybe we'll do another PS5 or something. But make sure you have your push notifications on.
And as always, make sure you guys like the stream, follow, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week.
Happy Memorial Day.